Airbnb has become synonymous with short-term rentals, and they own the space, similar to how Google owns search. Will Airbnb take over the industry? It's already happening. Hey guys, Christian here. In today's video, we're going to discuss the Airbnb initial public offering, how the business model works, and is this one of the best investments ever, similar to the almighty Facebook? Before we get started, if you think that Airbnb stock's going to double in the first 30 days of trading, smash that like button. Now, let's dive right in.
Everything is just beautiful.
Airbnb is an online travel portal and marketplace that offers travelers, also known as guests, to book private residences from a host, otherwise known as the property manager or owner. I have personally been an Airbnb Superhost for the past 9 years, and whenever we travel, we almost exclusively stay at Airbnbs throughout the world. If you're unfamiliar with Superhosts, we're a little bit crazy, kind of like this guy from Korea.
Hi, this is G-Dragon. 大家好，我係 G-Dragon。こんにちは、私は G-Dragon です。大家好，我是 G-Dragon。안녕하세요, G-Dragon입니다. 저에게 많은 영감을 주었던 아주 특별한 곳을 여러분들께 공개하고 선물해드리고 싶은데요. 에어비앤비를 통해 호스팅하려고 합니다.
Airbnb's main competitor is VRBO, otherwise known as Vacation Rental by Owner, which was acquired by HomeAway and now is owned by the Expedia Group, the dominant leader in global travel. Looking at the numbers, you can see that the travel industry is really suffering this year, less than half of what it was last year, and it isn't expected to fully recover until 2023. Airbnb was going to complete an IPO earlier this year, but it was quickly postponed due to the pandemic, and as hosts, we saw 99% of our guests cancel their travel plans in March, and they didn't come back until about May, but demand did bounce back substantially, and our summer and winter months now are almost completely booked. The IPO is going to provide Airbnb with about $2.3 to almost $3 billion in total cash. Globally, sales are expected to grow significantly all the way through 2025 and beyond. North America, Europe, and Asia will dominate the market. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button. As you can see, Airbnb is currently the third highest player based on online revenue and accommodations in the travel market. With the entire industry still very fragmented, Airbnb will greatly benefit from consolidation in the industry that should come in the next few years. They will get a huge market share. So let's dive into their numbers. In 2017, their revenue was about $2.561 billion, and in 2019, it expanded to $4.805 billion. That's an increase of 87.6% in just the last 2 years. So they almost doubled in the past 2 years. But how does that compare to the competition? Booking's online revenue increased 19%, and Expedia's increased about 20%. TripAdvisor's income over the past 2 years was completely flat. But there is a good thing to note about that, and we'll check out more on that later.
So why didn't I flinch? Because the laws of science differ fundamentally from them.
Check out the dramatic difference in revenue from the first 3 months of 2019 until 2020, a decrease of almost $1.2 billion. The total spent on product development was about the same, $690 million. But the amount spent on sales and marketing was significantly less at $545 million as compared to $1.2 billion a year ago. Airbnb has done a ton of sales and marketing, and as a private company, that spurred tremendous growth. But the only year that they showed a profit was 2018. The huge reduction in the amount of sales and marketing over the last years created the most profitable quarter in the Airbnb's history.
Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Yes, you heard that right. In the middle of a shutdown with travel, Airbnb's net profit were over $500 million. As you can see by Airbnb's statement, their growth initiatives and investments created a $250 million loss in 2019, but that type of statement is eerily similar to another company whose name rhymes with Camazon. All of these investments in high growth will lead to incredible profits once the spigot is turned down, as witnessed in the third quarter of 2020. This chart is a great reason why Airbnb will be a high-flying stock in 2021. Free cash flow increased by $320 million in the third quarter. Their profit margin was 24% of all revenue, which indicates that when they're not spending wildly, they currently have enormous margins, like another great platform business that you might remember, founded by Mark Zuckerberg.
But here's the thing. Our mission isn't to be a public company. Our mission is to make the world more open and connected.
It had an IPO about 10 years ago with similar numbers. So what's up with their client acquisition costs, or CAC, C-A-C? Over 69% of guests that stay on the Airbnb platform do so again. So about 2/3 of people who use Airbnb go back to it. Similar to a ride-sharing service you might know called Uber.
You just paid $700,000 for a company doing $80,000 in revenue.
I paid $300,000 for a company with no revenue. It was called Uber.
Interesting.
Why would you want to stay at any old hotel when you could stay at a super nice residence with all the amenities of home, including a kitchen? Checking out Airbnb's balance sheet, they have a cash position of about $2.6 billion. They have total assets of approximately $8.7 billion. And looking down to their liabilities, they owe about $6.873 billion. So their total book value is approximately $2 billion. Here's Airbnb's S1 filed with the SEC. I'll put a link down in the description below so you can check out all the numbers in depth if you really want to see everything in great detail. So on to valuations and their IPO value. They're expected to be worth about $40 billion when they complete their IPO. Their price shares will be somewhere around $60 per share. Previously in 2020, they were valued at about $18 billion when they raised an additional $2 billion in debt to cover them through the first 9 months of the year and wait out this pandemic. Check out the total number of IPOs in 2020, the middle of a pandemic. It's higher than the bubble of 2000, which is really concerning, but money's free right now, so let's look at the growth of Airbnb's competition. It's not even close. They are crushing the competition, absolutely obliterating them. Now, it's on to my big prediction for Airbnb and why their value is going to increase dramatically over the next couple of years. One name, and that name is that company with the owl. You know them as TripAdvisor.
When it comes to travel, I sweat the details. Late checkout, down alternative pillows, and of course, price. TripAdvisor helps you book a hotel without breaking a sweat. Because we now instantly search over 200 booking sites to find you the lowest price on the hotel you want. Don't sweat your booking.
If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and press that bell notification so that you can be notified whenever we release new videos. So what does TripAdvisor have to do with Airbnb? We know from earlier in this video that they aren't growing. In fact, they showed zero profit, which means they're dying.
Pam, 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 Pam. We're dying here.
But they do have a ton of content and an enormously loyal community that provides most of their content. It would be perfect fit for Airbnb, and I can see a merger that would happen and provide consumers with the most information possible when it comes to travel. And that's really what people are looking for right now, an experience. Airbnb experiences are taking off. Why, you'd love to stay at home, but if you could book the ideal vacation where you get backstage passes to the zoo and can pet a koala bear all from one site, it's hard to put a dollar value on the perfect family vacation. Even if the TripAdvisor merger doesn't happen, it's a good bet that Airbnb will acquire several companies in the years ahead and increase its market share in early 2021 dramatically while other companies are struggling. Revenues are continued to increase significantly, and all the way through 2025 and beyond, I can see amazing amounts of cash this company is going to throw off, which is going to lead to an astronomical stock price. But here comes this public service advisory. Don't take my word for it. I'm just a guy on the internet. You should always speak to a qualified financial advisor before you invest in anything. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Airbnb. Will their IPO skyrocket or will it be a dud? Thanks again for watching, and take it from a Superhost, I'm excited to see what happens with the Airbnb IPO.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it.
If you know someone who would benefit from this content, please make sure to share it with them.